Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. New roofs, roof repairs, guttering. Daniel Hood Roofing handles all three. Their track record has earned them awards and citations of all types all across the country. This is a nationally recognized roofing company. Daniel Hood Roofing, we know him because he's on the show and because he's done roofing work for just about everybody on the show one time or another. You can get to know him through danielhoodroofing.com. Or you can call him today. Operators are standing by, literally. Call him today. Okay, I mentioned Tennessee's going to be losing assistant coach Mike Schwartz to East Carolina. He's the fourth assistant to go and be a head coach off of Rick Barnes' staff since Barnes arrived here. Mark, you made an interesting point this week that what we talked about earlier, there's Barnes style and there's Pearl style. ADs look at the Barnes style and say, give me some of that, because you see a lot of his guys getting hired, and that's a good gauge of what people around the country think of a head coach, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, when your head coach is producing assistants that become head coaches, there's a lot of respect for that head coach.
Schwartz leaves. I'm not going to freak out over it because Barnes has replaced these guys, all four of them. The previous three he's replaced them, moved right on. So I'm not going to freak out that Schwartz is leaving. One thing I took away from it, though, was I thought it was Lanier. Maybe he'll be kind of a coach in waiting, but he left. Now you're looking at Schwartz, and we were discussing off air a week or two ago. Maybe he'll be a coach in waiting. Now he leaves. It tells me, maybe I'm wrong, but Rick Barnes is 67 going on coaching into his 70s as opposed to 67 going on to retirement in a year or two. I think these guys might stick around if they thought there was a hint, I may be the next guy. Them leaving suggests, at least in my view, you can tell me if you disagree, it suggests they don't see Rick Barnes hanging it up anytime soon. Agree, disagree with that?
I'd agree with that.
Me too.
Yeah, I would too. And he looks to be a young 67. I mean, he's still got a lot of energy about it, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down in practice. Ask the players. So, yeah, I think he intends to be the coach here for a number of years, and he's got things going well. Would he like to have a little bit better? Sure. But I think he's got the program going in a great direction.
Won the SEC tournament, and if not for one game with COVID, you're probably co-SEC champs for the second time since he's been here. Yeah. All right, lessons we learned from this season. And this is really just my way of taking a shot at the NCAA, so you can give your own lessons. My lesson would be don't schedule hard. Just stop it. It didn't pay off this year. It doesn't prepare you for the tournament either because it didn't. You played North Carolina, Villanova, Texas Tech, and Arizona.
Texas
didn't help you against Michigan. Didn't help you in mid. So preparing for March didn't help. But the main thing is you played all those teams. Auburn played a bunch of mid-majors, and they gave Auburn the better seed. So just play a bunch of mid-majors. I wouldn't even if we believe that UT fans should focus on regular season because that's what you are as a program, then go give them more regular season wins. Play the mid-majors instead of as much as I loved watching Arizona and Villanova and Tennessee play all these teams. NCAA is not going to reward you. Hell with them. Play mid-majors. Do the Pearl thing. Play a crap schedule. Any lessons learned from this year for you guys? Anything?
The lesson learned from me is you need to get some inside scoring. John Fulkerson didn't play at the level I thought that he might, but that's the thing that you've got to have. You can't rely on the three-point shooting. As we pointed out earlier, of their 8 losses, 7 of them came when they shot poorly from three-point range.
Now, I would schedule tournaments in the Bahamas and Hawaii. You know, that's where I'm scheduling. And then I'm trying to bring in an Arizona or somebody else to fill Thompson Bowling Arena.
My lesson learned would be that Barnes is adapting a little bit. He tried to press at times. He did some zone. And the lesson learned would be that you can win basketball games that way. And if you don't have an inside presence, the lesson learned is to continue to play up tempo, is continue to try different things and don't get so dead set in our ways like I think we have in years past. I think he's adapted some that we end up taking a loss because we're unwilling to adapt. So if we don't get the inside presence, we've learned that we can play fast and be successful. And with a guy like Ziegler coming back, you're going to have that opportunity again.
I thought he was more adaptive this year than we've seen him in any previous season. Isaiah, any lessons?
I'm with Mark, man. Being adaptive is not the strongest who survives. It's not the smartest, but the most adaptive. And he showed he's, like I said, going in a different direction, getting outside of his box a little bit, and it helped us a lot this year.
But what is it they say about an old dog? They don't demand the new tricks.
You almost went into a George W. Bush there for once. But
I think it can adapt. I think it can adapt a little bit more.
All right. One more for the NCAA here. Take your net rankings and just say that's the new thing. we're not going to have a committee. It's net rankings. That's who gets in. That's how we're seated. You know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. If you want to cry that there's a computer conspiracy against you, cry all you want. We're not listening to any more crap. It's the net rankings. Everybody knows we're done with it. That's what I would do if I was the NCAA. Mark Pankratz, thanks for another good year. Isaiah Victor, thanks for a full year. Even down here in Knoxville, it's great to have you every single week.
Great to be here.
As basketball news breaks and changes and stuff, we'll have you guys back. But thank you very much.
Things change in Tennessee land.
Yeah. Thank you very much. When we come back, let's talk about spring practice. Ryan Callahan, Bob Hodge are here next. What are the biggest questions facing Tennessee's offense as spring practice gears up? Come on back on the Sports Source.